Hello, this is Cuckoo. I'm at a different venue today, which is I'm here with UDO Audio and Ben. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I've been a big fan of everything you've done since you launched the Super 6, and I think there's something very beautiful about everything you do. But if you're seeing stuff on being presented, being announced, and you have no idea about the road to a finished synthesizer or what the team is like, how big is the company. For me, hearing what you're doing with the Super 6 and now the new Super 8, it sounds like you know exactly what you do. It's refined, it's precision, it's beautiful. It doesn't sound like a small company to me.
Well, yes, it's. I think to give the impression that you're bigger than you are is actually not necessarily a bad thing. But we're quite a small team that operate here in Bristol. It all sort of started with George and George's brother, who sort of founded the company 5 years ago, which is when they released the Super 6. And now here we are, slightly bigger, in the same space, which is now slightly more busy and full of things. But no, in general, I think things are going really well. And yeah, it's brilliant.
Have you been here from the Super 6?
I got here 2 years in, I believe, so I've been here for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So when I was here, we'd really just sort of started fully manufacturing the Super 6 at sort of full rates.
Yeah.
And obviously since then we've done the desktop, we've done the Super 8, the Super Gemini. So it's been a sort of consistent release of products, which I think is really great, really important.
Yeah. So what's the reception been like, and how do you feel like is UDO Audio being recognized now as a company? I've been starting to see it pop up at very unexpected rigs, and it makes me very happy.
Yeah, well, I think it's easy to be in your own bubble when you come here to work every day and believe that you believe your own hype, so to say, or that we are very renowned. But I think the reality is we're just sort of approaching onto most people's radars. I think what was really important for us was the release of the Super Gemini to show, because the Super 6 had been out for 3 years at that point. And then to show that you're not the second album, so to speak. It's a difficult one, and to show proof of concept that you could go bigger than the Super 6. You can have the dual layers, the dual sounds, additional controls. I think it sort of put us on the map, so to say, or got the head nod in the industry.
Yeah. For me, I think the size of the Super 6 is my favorite form factor when it comes to keyboard synth. Just the right size, wide enough to be a little bit elaborate, and small enough to be a carry-on. Maybe not a carry-on luggage, but you can still travel with it. And the Super Gemini and the Super 8, more of a flagship kind of size, but not to be a flagship. If you compare it with other big flagships, it's quite compact.
Yes. I think we had to consider when releasing the Gemini, we didn't want to oversaturate the instrument with too many controls, too many things. You want to keep it refined and have just what is necessary. But I think the concept of the instrument was mainly sort of came into fruition when playing around with the Super 6 keyboard and the Super 6 desktop in together, and the sort of possibilities you can get by weaving the two or pairing the two if you wanted to. Just sort of open the door as this could be a product in itself. You could have the dual layers, basically two instruments in one, two Super 6s. And from there came the sort of concept of the Super Gemini. But it is easy to get carried away and put on all new controls. The better thing to do is to keep it refined, to keep it more simple. Definitely.
And with the Super 8 and Super Gemini, technically it sounds very similar to the Super 6. You're using the same technology, the same kind of what do you call the oscillators again?
DDS,
Yeah.
direct digital synthesis oscillators. Yeah.
What sets that apart from other typical oscillators?
I think paired with the FPGA processor, it enables you to have a really high sample rate, which then allows you really sort of, compared to other digital oscillators, you've got such a more detailed sound, which then once paired through the DACs, it's the sample rate allows a sort of response way beyond the sort of human auditory system, which makes it sound so similar to analog, but also gives you the benefit of it being digital anyway.
But also with all that sample rate comes great responsibility. And so what you do with all of that detail, you need to have a great understanding of what to do with all of that.
Right, yeah, definitely. And this is really hats off to George, because unfortunately George can't be here today to talk to you all about it. But it's the sound of the Super 6 and the sound of all the Super Series really is what's unique. It's the USP. It's what's unique about these instruments. Yeah. It's just how rich and how just luscious and thick the sound is, and you can get out of these instruments, and that's largely down to his sort of excellence in that field. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I totally agree. I made a whole patch pack for the Super 6. Although I kind of gravitate towards making a lot of kind of bread and butter keyboard patches, I always start out from scratch, and I marvel at just the sheer audio quality of just one tone in its starting point. And I think with increased resolution and doesn't always mean that you get a richer sound. Sometimes maybe it could even work against you. It becomes more stale or more. Yeah. But I think you've hit some sort of sweet spot.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Thumbs up to George.
But how many people are you here at UDO? Both here, and maybe you've got some people remote as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. In the recent year or so, with the more products to build, we've increased in size a little bit. That's mainly next door you can't see, but there's a team of 5 assembly or product specialists who are just building our orders constantly, which is brilliant. But then in this room, which is more of the office, we have 4 core members even, which is George and Magnus. They're the Hearns, the brothers who founded this company 5 years ago. And then we've got Phil, who's on sort of hardware design, research and development, electronics engineering. And then there's myself, which is more in the sort of operations management. And we've also got Mike, who's our technical support agent. He consults from Germany, does it all remotely, who I'm sure a lot of you have spoken to. But yeah, so it's still quite a very small team, and I think that's what we're focusing on at the moment, is remaining as efficient as we can be in low numbers, and just really prioritizing doing as much as we can from as fewer people as possible, or as small a space as possible, and going from there really.
Yeah, well, it sounds good. It's impressive to me to see all of these high-end synthesizers coming out from such a small team. But it also makes me wonder how, if you have like maybe not a roadmap of ramping up, but if demand kind of spikes and races and gets a little bit out of hand for some reason, are you prepared to kind of meet that demand, or do you take it like very a slow approach?
I think we would all of us in this building would love to see as many people playing a UDO instrument as possible, and that would be an excellent thing. But I think we would have to grow with the demand, I guess, or we would definitely have to maybe get a bigger space, more production, and I think with releasing more products, you quite quickly have to then realize, well, we've got to build more products. That means so perhaps a bigger space, because it's not only the space you need to build it, but it's the space you need to store things and to have all your screws and pots ready to ready to be assembled. So yes, short answer, we would love to scale and we would love to grow and we would love to be able to build more, design more, release more.
So I was just going to ask you, of course, now what we've seen is these like 3 synthesizers and the desktop version, but I suspect there's going to be more, and with more products you also need to be able to sustain production of many products. And hopefully, I mean, in this world of synthesizers, some products are maybe short-lived in terms of for how many years they are produced, whereas some other, especially maybe with smaller companies like you have like this one technology and you're probably going to keep doing that, and it's so refined and people come here for just that. But maybe down the line you have other technologies, and you're gonna, you have to grow at some point, I guess. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I think it sort of links into what you were saying earlier, in that we, from an outsider looking in, it can seem like, or the sound can seem like we're very established, but even at Synthfest last weekend in Sheffield, there's still people who are seeing us for the first time who'd never heard about us before. So I think it's it's brilliant to grow, and it's brilliant to release new things, new concepts, and that's the best way to reach new audiences, reach more people, to be putting out new things. But I think from releasing the Super 6 to now, I think everything's gone extraordinarily well, really, to considering all the crises as well that happened at that time, like COVID. Like
you were just going to release it when COVID and chip shortages happened at the same time.
Exactly. And then I think there was also another incident where there was a factory shutdown of the Xilinx manufacturing, which is the FPGA which we use in every single one of our synths. So it was kind of sort of backward step after backward step from one stage, but we got through it, and here we are. This is now a brilliant time for us. So
and now recording this just one day ahead of this event in Bristol, Machine Bristronica. Now you're going to be there, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What are your plans there?
Our plans are to show our synthesizers. This is our limited edition black. This is the only black Super 8 that was made.
That is so limited. Just one.
Just one. So we thought we'd take it and show it around, see if people like it. If I may as well.
Yeah.
This is our latest development, the RBN one. You might recognize it from the Super Gemini. It's a touch strip. It can be used for intelligent pitch control on the Super 6 or the Super 8 eventually. But it also can be used for any instrument that has an expression input. And it will work just as an expression pedal will. Or for the Super 6, you can map it into the mod matrix, so it can control any of your direct mappings on the synthesizer. So
And it's the exact same feeling as the one on the Super Gemini.
Yes, exactly. It's the same technology. It's the same strip, which we actually spent a long time working with a UK manufacturer trying to get that feel of the ribbon. Sort of, you want it to drag enough, but also to be really tactile and smooth. We're really happy with it, and
When do you think it'll be shipping?
These will be shipping in December. So they're available now on our shop for pre-order. But yes, shipping in December. Yeah.
And I gotta say, this is a sturdy build. It's an aluminium housing, machined aluminium, and some magnets, so it snaps really nicely onto these steel enclosures. It's very solid. It feels really nice. And for me, I think, generally speaking, I've not been a fan of ribbon controllers because I've played the Continuum fingerboard, which is extremely responsive.
Yeah.
But the ribbon controllers you have in the Super Gemini is very responsive, very, very high quality. So I have high hopes for this.
Brilliant. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very nice to be able to. It sort of follows on from the philosophy of our instruments. Really, is to be able to have hands-on with your sound, really, and be tactile with everything that you do. And yeah, I think it really adds another layer of expression you can use on your synth.
Yeah, nice. And that also reminds me a little bit of your philosophy that is kind of coming to light a little bit this last year. You've been introducing upgrades for the Super 6. This is an upgrade, so to speak, or an add-on, an accessory. And the new keyboards, you've been offering a way to retrofit what's it called again? Poly aftertouch keyboard.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep upgrading your products, and I think we've had a lot of praise for doing it, even because adding the poly aftertouch to the Super 6 it really has developed the sound, and it was technology we'd introduced with the Super 8 and Super Gemini. So yeah, we're very happy that people enjoyed it and enjoyed the product. But I think it's important to keep, or we think it's important to keep updating your products and improving where you can, and especially taking feedback from your customers. If people were requesting poly aftertouch, so why shouldn't we release an upgrade kit? And yeah, it's been gladly received, which has been great.
Is it the same exact keyboard bed as in the Super Gemini?
No,
just a shorter one. No?
It's it's the TP90 from Fatah, which is the key bed. It's it's one less octave than the Gemini and the Super 8, and it's
the same feeling.
Yeah.
Because the one on the Super Gemini is very nice to be like poly aftertouch can sometimes be a little stiff, and then it kind of defeats the purpose of being expressive. But this one is not that stiff. You have good control of the aftertouch.
Yeah, and I think that largely comes down to the sort of the coding of the sensitivity as well. At what point it engages the aftertouch, at what point it's still just normal velocity. But yeah, the keys are semi-weighted too, so it just has a really nice premium feel to playing.
And that's also an upgrade from the original keyboard, right? A bit more, they move a bit slower in a way, but that also makes them more keyboard-like. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, semi-weighted, it just gives it a bit more of a sort of substantial feeling when you're playing it.
I even yesterday I played it at Sonic State, and I felt the keyboard like, this is not semi-weighted. This is even semi-weightier than semi-weighted keys.
I guess you could say that. Semi-weightier, semi-weighted. Yeah, thank you very much. It's great to show you around, because I know you've ever since the release of the Super 6, you were involved with. There was a brilliant video of you playing a full song on the Super 6.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot.
Yeah. So it's great to be able to show you what we do and how we do it. I think, we're just here in Bristol, quite a small company still. So to be able to sort of give you insight on how we do things and how we build things, and the deeper philosophy about why we do it certain ways it's really great.
Well, I'm really thankful, and I really, whenever I get the chance, I always praise you. These guys, they're the real deal. And for me, your products, it sounds like millions, even if you're a small team. You're on my map firmly at the top
Brilliant.
of yeah. So cool. Well, so good luck at the Brastronica event. I hope you get a lot of eyes on this new accessory, or what do you call it?
Yeah, an accessory,
Yeah,
I think, would be a good way.
Yeah. And also best of luck of the launch of the Super 8. Is it shipping, by the way?
Yeah, it's shipping. Yeah, we've done a few major shipments to all Europe, America, UK, so should be in shops now. Yeah.
Sick. Well, good luck, and see you soon again.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah. This is like a bread and butter patch. Actually.
Yeah.
It sounds great. Now this is the thing I was talking about earlier. These types of sounds don't appeal to me normally, but here they do, because they're done right, and they can sound edgy and sharp without being ear piercing.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
there's something gentle about it still, even though it's kind of.